But again, some of these people on the Republican side and anti-illegal immigrant side say, we're not really going for 13 million deportations. We're going for a smaller number, environment of fear, hit employers that are hiring illegal immigrants, this kind of a approach that deters more illegal immigrants and pushes out existing ones. So on the economics, this is hugely important. Many say illegal immigrants crowd out Americans for social services, that they crowd out Americans for jobs, that exploiting cheap labor should not support allowing illegals. So in other words, just because illegals are providing cheap, let's say, lettuce picking services that certain employers depend upon, doesn't mean we should override the legal and ethical problems of just allowing illegals to cross the border. Another argument is cost of deportation made up for by savings to taxpayers. So it might cost a lot of money to deport these illegals, but in the end, it is costing us a lot to have them here. They're a burden on taxpayers, so there's a trade-off there that might level out. So maybe I'll read a quote on this one. This is Edwin Rubenstein, and I'm drawing all these quotes from the article that we have on DebatePedia on the topic. Quote, even if 206 billion was a reasonable cost estimate for deportation, mass deportation would be well worth it. Just consider the economic burden illegal aliens impose on the rest of us. Total fiscal benefits of deportation are thus estimated at 51 billion per year. At this rate, mass deportation would pay for itself in about 4 years. Plus, of course, we get America back. So there's that argument. But mass deportation from U.S. would be very expensive. So again, I went over that it would potentially cost $285 billion. Maybe I said 250, but 285 was the estimate by the Center for American Progress. So that's very, very pricey. Another point is that path to citizenship forces illegals to pay back taxes. So if we bring them in, integrate them, usually with most proposals it would have them pay back taxes and potentially even a fine for having broken the law initially. So that's revenue to the state that otherwise would not be coming in if we just deported them. Another one, deporting illegals would be economically damaging. So all of these illegal immigrants, they're doing two things. They are fulfilling demand for jobs. So an employer wants to hire somebody, needs their services, hires an illegal immigrant. The illegal immigrants add value to the economy that way. Then they also add value by actually taking that money that they earn and spending it on businesses elsewhere, on Main Street or wherever it is. And so in a lot of these states that have been cracking down on illegal immigrants, Oklahoma, Georgia, Arizona, local employers, local businesses, shops that are selling just goods are losing a lot of their customers, illegal immigrants that are spending money. So it definitely hurts to have that go. Illegal immigrants significantly contribute to the U.S. economy. So let's see, here's a quote from the Center for American Progress. Quote, legalization of undocumented immigrants and more flexible immigration channels would significantly expand the economy by a cumulative 1.5 trillion in gross domestic product over 10 years through increased consumer spending, higher tax receipts, and other related factors. A deportation approach, by contrast, would have the cumulative effect of draining 2.5 trillion over 10 years from the U.S. economy. That is a 4 trillion swing in GDP depending on which policy approach we adopt. Pretty profound argument. And the Center for American Progress, it's a progressive think tank, so maybe it's cooking the books on the numbers here, but I tend to trust the studies that they do. So on morality, illegal aliens have no moral right to remain in the U.S. I think this is generally right, that that they don't have a claim to citizenship. They broke the law coming in and so forth. But, deportation is disrupting immigrant families, disrupting communities, disrupting the economy. It's just really disruptive. So I think it's a trade-off here on the morality thing. I would say fine on the argument that deporting illegal immigrants maintains the integrity of our border and our national security and things like this. It's important to not have non-citizens, especially violent ones, on the streets. If your son or something was killed by an illegal immigrant, how would you feel about that? These kinds of things. So on the morality, I think it's a mixed bag. But in general, most illegal immigrants are just trying to find jobs, and they're just trying to start a new life. So I don't think they're as bad as any other American citizens who are also committing violent crimes and other things that are morally bad. So anyway, I'm going to stop there, but there's lots to consider. I would say, in general, I stand on the side of integration and a path to citizenship, but with back taxes and things like that. Make sure that illegal immigrants stand in the back of the line, in the immigration line, so that you're not pissing off legitimate immigrants who are waiting in their own country to get citizenship to the United States. I think that's a morally good approach, but it's just too disruptive, too expensive, too damaging to deport 13 million illegal immigrants. And also, even if it's not a mass roundup, too damaging to create threatening conditions for illegal immigrants that cause them to self-deport. This is Brooks Lindsay. Have a look at our article. It is deporting illegal immigrants in the U.S. Take care.